Lapland lies within the Arctic Circle, occupying the northernmost part of Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Russia. It is a sparsely populated subarctic wilderness, known for its harsh climate, rugged landscape, and natural phenomena, including the midnight sun and the northern lights. Lapland's nature is rugged, yet fascinating. Lapland is one of the world's few regions where most of its natural land is free for anyone to explore and enjoy. And its nature is fascinating. The landscape in the southern parts of Lapland is known as the taiga, wildernesses of temperate forests, large swamps in the center, and tundra-like dwarf birch forests further north. The Ice Age here ended only about 10,000 years ago. During this short period, Lapland has evolved into one of Europe's largest, least populated, and most scenic regions. Derived from the Old Norse for mountain, a fell is a barren landscape feature rising above the tree line, usually with a rounded peak, smoothed by several ice ages and the harsh climatic conditions. The birth story of the fells begins in the Earth's distant past, up to 3 billion years ago. The Earth cooled itself with the flow of hot molten rock, which transported heat from the Earth's core to the surface. At first, all solid material melted, but gradually, especially in the less active areas, the first proto-continents and oceans were born, and life took its primitive forms. The oldest fells of Lapland originate from that time. There was no Finland or Scandinavia, and the bedrock of Lapland, or so-called Giant's Continent, was situated in a completely different place from where it is now. At that time, there was no life on the newborn continent. In Lapland, all physical processes relating to the creation of the wide variety of mountains have taken place in different geological periods. Volcanoes have spewed lava. There have been plate tectonic shifts, where one bedrock plate has sunk and another has risen. Fold mountains have appeared during various periods. Most recently, the Scandinavian mountains in Norway and Sweden, 500 million years ago. When the layers of the Earth's crust move on top of each other, the different layers fold. This can be seen on the Sonnefell as a hat covering the top. There have been several ice ages in Lapland. The first as early as 2.3 billion years ago, and the most recent one lasted over 100,000 years, ending only about 10,000 years ago. There are 8 seasons in Lapland. Large temperature fluctuations continue to erode ancient rock material. The changing of the seasons greatly affects the entire nature of Lapland. Plants and animals must adapt to the rapidly changing weather. Winter in Lapland is cold and snowy, often dropping to 40 degrees below zero. When the landscape is smothered with snow, it makes it difficult for animals to find food just when they need energy the most. There is little light and therefore few colors at this time. Only endless blue and white. The colors blaze in the sky. Here and there the felled birches break up the bleak landscape. When treeless areas are completely covered in snow and ice, the white of the ground overlaps the gray of the sky. Dark shrubs can be seen where the wind brings the snow down to the valleys. When a blizzard suddenly begins, visibility disappears, and the landscape becomes even more confusing. During midwinter, the sun does not rise above the horizon in the northernmost Lapland. It has not risen for almost a month, and it will not rise for another month. This phenomenon is known as the polar night, and here it lasts for 2 months. Days during the polar night are not dark, though. The wonderful light of the sky colors the horizon, and the day feels like a constant rising and setting of the sun. The glow of the sun colors the horizon with a flaming red stripe, against which the mountain birches look tough, as if they were pulling heaven and earth closer together. The blue hour lingers before darkness wins. The polar night is not pitch black, but when it gets dark, the play of a pale greenish light begins. If the sky is cloudy, the entire cloud cover is colored green. If the sky is clear, the northern lights play as colorful, ever-changing stripes, veils, and rosettes. The starry sky shines so brilliantly that it feels as if you could reach the stars by stretching out your hand. The polar night environment is silent. Only the rising wind can carry sound. All living creatures seem to be asleep. The animals move only as much as necessary to find food. Many of them are hidden under the snow. The stoat hunts valiantly, sheltered by the frozen snow. Through history, people of the North have had several explanations for the incomprehensible northern lights. The term Northern Light comes from the Sami belief in their origin. According to ancient legend, the firefox sweeps the snowdrift with its tail, and the frost flakes shimmer in the sky in the light moonlight. In Scandinavia, the glow of the sky is believed to be linked to the light reflecting silver armor of the Valkyries. Even in the south, the northern lights are often associated with war. While the deceased play in the sky, their blood continues to jump around, painting a strange phenomenon in the sky. For others, the northern lights arching across the sky are the mythical gates of the north. Humans have been scientifically studying the northern lights, also known as the aurora borealis, for less than 100 years. Today, we know that they are related to the sun's particle radiation, the solar wind. Protons and electrons flowing continuously from the sun form the solar wind, colliding with layers of gas in the Earth's atmosphere. The Earth's magnetic field protects the Earth from these charged particles. But near the poles, the magnetic field lines form an opening. Auroras occur when these solar wind particles charge oxygen and nitrogen atoms in the atmosphere, producing tiny flashes that fill the sky with colorful light. This light works the same way as a neon lamp or an old cathode ray tube television set, producing different tones and colors. The color is affected by the altitude and the gas layer with which the solar wind electrons collide. Some people have heard sounds associated with the northern lights, adding to the magic of the phenomenon. Lapland is the kingdom of snow. In the north, the landscape is covered with snow for almost 7 months. Deep snowdrifts can often be found in the fells even in June. Snowfall has several different names: sleet, snow flurries, blizzards, snowstorms, and snow showers all describe the different weather conditions. In the Finnish language, there are dozens of names for different types of snow: slush, sleet, drift, fresh snow, powder, and so on. While in the Sami language, there are hundreds of different names for snow. Snow crystals are formed when water vapor freezes high up in the atmosphere to form a snow cloud. When the weight of the crystal is sufficient, it begins to fall towards the ground. Snow crystals are regular and beautiful. They are like messages sent from heaven to earth. The shape of the crystal reveals the prevailing conditions during the formation and the fall of it. It is impossible to find two identical snowflakes. Snow provides an important layer of insulation for Lapland's plants and animals. It protects them from the cold. Even if it's tens of degrees below zero outside, the temperature deeper under the snow can be much warmer at just a few degrees below zero. Many of the year-round animals in Lapland, such as the ptarmigan and stoat, change to a white or light protective color when winter arrives. Even on the snow surface, the stoat is difficult to spot due to its protective color. It uses its keen hearing to hunt voles under the soft snow. Snow changes as winter progresses and conditions change. After a winter rain or a warmer period, the snow surface freezes again. The availability of food for many animals is hampered by the frozen layer of snow. The lemming population can collapse if the snow on the moss freezes, forming an icy barrier between them and their essential food source. Snow, wind, and moisture create wonderful shapes in the snow. When the cold air meets moist air, magnificent crown snows are formed in the felled trees. The snow load on a medium-sized spruce can weigh up to 4,000 kilos. Holes and passages in the crown snow trees provide shelter for animals. The water stored in the snow during the winter, together with the warmth and light of the sun, awakens nature to spring. According to the calendar, spring begins in early March. At this time, it is still late winter in Lapland. The snow cover has not started to melt, and the snow is thick over the fells. However, daylight is increasing, and after the spring equinox at the end of March, the days are already longer than the nights, and continue to get longer rapidly. As the light increases, so does the temperature. When the day is sunny and the temperature is above zero, but below freezing at night, a supporting crust develops. It favors certain animals such as the wolverine. It does not sink into the snow, but is able to run on the hard surface. Some animals are considerably disadvantaged by the crusty snow. For example, the heavy moose have difficulty moving because their hooves sink through, making it more difficult for them to find food. Ptarmigan and other hen birds take shelter in well-insulated snow pits at night. It can still be over 20 degrees below zero at night. Crows and owls start nesting in March through April, although there is still plenty of snow on the ground and fresh snowfalls are not unusual. Thermal spring officially arrives when the temperature no longer drops below zero during 24 hours. Then the snow melts quickly. It will be a bright Lapland spring. Reindeer give birth where the snow is melted. The calves with stilt-like legs are able to follow their mothers when they are only a few days old. Small reindeer calves follow the herd up the fell slopes. When the snow patches melt, young and delicious spring shoots start to appear. The courtship of ptarmigan and black grouse begins in the late winter, when the snowdrifts are still high. You can tell that the ptarmigan is a hen bird by the round head and the eyes on the sides. It is robust, with a short tail and a strong neck. The ptarmigan is widely hunted, and has therefore developed a wide field of vision. It constantly keeps an eye on its surroundings and seeks shelter from predators. Hen birds prefer to keep their feet firmly on the ground, so their nests are also placed there. The ptarmigan courtship starts already in late winter, when there is still a lot of snow. The male marks a territory, where he attracts the female with the typical laugh of the ptarmigan. They are monogamous, and the courtship takes place on the male's territory. Once the female is won, the male has a hard job guarding his territory. The black grouse's courtship starts a little later than the ptarmigan's. The crusty snow, which has been hardened by the night frost, provides a good base for the courtship display. The black grouse gather on a marsh or other open area, where it is decided which of the males get to mate. For the mating ceremony, the black grouse develop a black and white metallic shimmering mating suit. The attractiveness of the plumage is a measure of the condition or fitness of the male. Males that are best adapted to the environment are the most attractive and get to battle in the best spots in the mating area. Sound plays an important role in the battle. The tournament begins before sunrise, and at its most intense, continues almost around the clock. The most successful males in the battle are the most popular partners, and they mate with several females. This is how the best genes are passed on to future generations in the black grouse population. Courtship-related chattering can be heard in the autumn, as if practicing for the following spring, when the black grouses gather again in the same place and the display is repeated. The behavior of animals and plants is determined by the seasons. For them, the temperature and day length is the most important factor influencing their behavior. In spring, the increase in light gives a precise signal to the biological clock of organisms and triggers the production of reproductive cells in birds. It tells them that it's time to move north to breed. As the snow melts, flocks of migratory birds arrive in Lapland. After a cold and quiet winter, nature suddenly seems to wake up to green and vibrant life. Summer is approaching fast. The vast wilderness of Lapland begins in the forests of the Arctic Circle and continues through the large marshlands of the center to the tundra-like fells of northern Lapland. The wilderness is home to large predators, millions of birds that nest in the marshes in summer, and large herds of reindeer that wander the fells. Reindeer are a familiar sight in the fells of Lapland. There are more of them here than people. Today's semi-domesticated reindeer is descended from the wild mountain reindeer, so they are well adapted to cold conditions. Here in Finland, every reindeer belongs to somebody. The owners come together to form collectives called reindeer grazing associations that are responsible for reindeer husbandry. Their reindeer roam only within specified grazing areas, which are separated by fences. The reindeer has a thick coat consisting of hollow air-filled hairs. The undercoat is dense and woolly, so it is an excellent insulator. The color of the coat varies, but is usually dark, grayish or light. The reindeer's antlers are used for heat regulation. The original fell reindeer is indigenous to the tundra and fell regions. It once roamed freely all the way from southern Norway to the Kola Peninsula in Russia. Now fell reindeer are extinct in Sweden, Finland, and on the Kola Peninsula, having mixed genetically with the common reindeer. Today, original fell reindeer can only be found in Norway, where they live south of the reindeer husbandry area, separated so as not to interbreed with reindeer. Lichen is an important food for reindeer. They dig it out from under the snow in winter. Even lichen that grows on trees, such as beard lichen, that has fallen onto the snow crust, makes a tasty meal. In summer, reindeer graze on grass, while in the autumn, mushrooms are an important food source, as they provide essential nutrients to help the reindeer survive the harsh winter months. Unlike other species of deer, both the female doe and the male stag reindeer have large antlers that are renewed every year. Reindeer antlers are the fastest growing bone on the planet, growing up to 2 centimeters per day in the summer months. Reindeer give birth in May. A snow-free spot in the forest provides protection from eagles patrolling overhead. The calf immediately rises to its feet, but stays close to its mother. The calf recognizes its mother by sound, even in the middle of a large herd. In spring and early summer, millions of migratory birds arrive in Lapland. They descend in large flocks and soon spread out to nest, each to their own territory. Sometimes the birds return further south to wait for the snow to melt in the far north. In Utsjoki, the nightless night begins after mid-May, when there can still be a meter of snow on the fells, and the River Tenno and lakes are still covered in thick ice. The birds arrive there for nesting in the beginning of June. One of the migratory birds is the ruff, a wading bird of coastal meadows and open marshes. Typical characteristics of this wader are its long beak and long legs, which are perfectly adapted for watery environments. Here it feeds on insects, worms, and other invertebrates from the marsh, and fish from the shore waters. Ruffs flock to the north from the Mediterranean region and Africa. The males come only to breed and return to warmer climes soon after in June and July. The females take care of the nesting alone and start migrating south with the young birds in August and September. Each of the male ruffs take part in a group courtship display. The idea is that the females can choose the best males to mate with by looking at them. Each male's well-being or fitness is judged according to the color and quality of his plumage, and by their dance moves. The male with the most colorful color and the best routine will attract the attention of the most females. The males have several different courtship suits. Those that conquer their own territory have brown, black, or gray color feathers. They guard their territory vigorously. In contrast, white-colored males roam in different territories and confront territory-guarding dark-colored males. In addition to these colorful males, there are a small number of males that resemble the females but are slightly bigger. While the beautiful colored males fight for territory, a female-like male can mate with females without having to battle first. By the end of June, all males have shed their courtship suits and are brown like the females. After mating, the female lays her eggs in a simple hidden nest on the ground, as waders do. She broods the eggs for about 3 weeks. After the eggs hatch, the chicks are immediately ready for an independent life beyond the nest. 3 weeks after hatching, the chicks are ready to fledge. Summer in Lapland is short, but full of light. In midsummer, the sun stays above the horizon, even at night, so it doesn't set at all. It's a nightless night. The length of the day increases from the Arctic Circle towards the North Pole. In the north of Lapland, the sun does not set for 2.5 months every summer. The sun that shines 24 hours a day affects plants and animals. Lapland's nature blooms rapidly, and the sleep pattern of animals changes. Predators in particular are active during the bright nights. Bears and many other large predators become nocturnal in the summer. They head out hunting, and the cubs follow the mother when the nights are light. The life of different groups of organisms is carefully synchronized. Plants must be able to produce leaves and flowers quickly in response to the warmer weather. Some small flowering plants bloom even before they have green leaves. This way, there is as much time as possible for the seeds to develop. The life cycle of insects is often short. Mosquitoes crawl out of their cocoon just in time for the hatching chicks. And during the short summer, migratory birds must get their chicks fledged and ready to fly to return to warmer climes. Many mammals give birth to their offspring while there's still snow on the ground. To survive the coming winter, these fox cubs must feed, grow, and learn to hunt on their own during the short summer. The greenness of early summer and the wonderful scent of freshly cracked leaves, the incessant chirping of birds, and the limitless sunshine are a magical combination after a snowy winter. A period of frost or a heavy storm in June can destroy the growing berries. For this reason, almost all plants in Lapland can also reproduce asexually. The wolverine is the largest land-living marten, or weasel, in Lapland. It is a clumsy hunter, and so scavenging the carcasses left by other predators is an important source of food. The wolverine doesn't have a territory or an area that it defends. They roam over large areas and often follow wolves, feeding on their leftovers. The wolverine meets its mate only for a short period in June or July. The female has delayed fetal development, which means that gestation, regardless of the timing of mating, does not begin until the winter. This strategy ensures her litter of 2 to 4 cubs are born in a safe and warm snow cave in the late winter. The wolverine efficiently utilizes the food it finds, storing food in hiding places if it can't manage to devour the whole carcass at once. If necessary, it is happy to make do with smaller mammals, frogs, mice, voles, and even berries in the autumn. The wolverine is a proficient climber. From its elevated hiding place, it can observe its surroundings for a long time. When danger threatens, wolverines have been known to shelter in trees. During snowy winters, the wolverine's hunting opportunities improve. Its preferred prey are reindeer and forest reindeer, sometimes even moose. While their hooves sink through into the snow, the wolverine's paws carry well on the snow crust, allowing it to move faster than its prey. Rodents are one of the most numerous mammal species in Lapland, and an important part of the food chain there. Voles are herbivores, so they must eat almost all the time, as plants contain little useful energy and nutrients. Blueberries and other berries are a preferable food source, as they are rich in energy and essential nutrients for the harsh winter ahead. When voles eat the berries, the seeds of the plants are dispersed with their feces far and wide, ready to germinate the next spring. Small mammal species compete with each other for food and good nesting sites. Voles remain active in winter. Beneath the snow, they are able to search for food and also breed. The snow not only provides shelter, but also thermal insulation. It may be minus 40 degrees Celsius outside, but under the snow it is always much warmer, somewhere closer to 0 degrees. The voles easily find food under the snow, such as tree seedlings, and so often cause damage to plants and people's plantings. The vole builds a nest under the snow, where it gives birth in winter. Here, the young are protected from predators. Many predators depend on small mammals for their survival, and their hunting behaviors can affect the size of the vole population. Equally, predator populations vary depending on the number of available voles and lemmings. Before choosing a nesting site, birds of prey search the territory for urine traces of voles, which they detect with their ultraviolet vision. The bird's vision is up to 8 times sharper than ours, and they can see certain light frequencies that we cannot. The stoat is a ferocious predator that, due to its small size and elongated shape, can sometimes follow voles into snow tunnels. There are 2 species of eagles in Lapland, the golden eagle and the white-tailed sea eagle. They are best identified by their flight silhouettes. The golden eagle has a much longer and narrower tail than the white-tailed sea eagle. The white-tailed sea eagle's wing feathers splay out, and it is said to resemble a flying rag rug. Eagles are magnificent birds. Their wingspan can reach well over 2 meters. Like all other birds of prey, the eagle's eyes are positioned on the front of their heads to allow for overlapping fields of view and accurate depth perception. Their vision is up to 10 times sharper than humans. As its name suggests, the white-tailed sea eagle lives mostly near the sea, large lakes or water reservoirs. Its diet is extensive and varied, from fish and seabirds to large mammals. The golden eagle is a bird of the fells and wilderness. It hunts ground-dwelling fowl and mammals of many sizes. The eagle's prey can also include foxes and even reindeer calves. Eagles eagerly seek out the carcasses left behind by large predators. However, they have to compete with many other animal species for these leftovers. Eagles are mainly residential birds. Only the most northerly birds migrate. The golden eagle couple builds a huge nest of twigs, often in the top of a sturdy pine tree. By repairing the nest, it can also be used the following year. The female lays a clutch of 1 to 4 eggs over a period of time, and she starts to brood immediately. Eagle eggs hatch 1 to several days apart, depending on when they were laid. So by the time the eggs are all hatched, the first chick is much bigger than the others. The small wagtail has built its nest below the eagles, so its nest is well protected from potential raiders. The large young eagle also attracts mosquitoes, so the wagtail has a ready-made food supply. This kind of relationship between different species in which neither is harmed and one clearly benefits is called commensalism. The Siberian jay is a woodland bird of Lapland, even though it is also found further south. It is a curious and intelligent bird that follows those who move around in the forest, jumping out from behind the branches to take a look. The Siberian jay is well adapted to the cold Arctic climate. Its fire-colored plumage has proven to be the most cold-resistant. One of the smallest members of the crow family, it is only slightly bigger than the biggest thrushes. The forested areas between the fells are divided into territories that are inhabited by Siberian jay couples. The Siberian jays are very sedentary birds. They store food in the trees for later. They produce a lot of saliva, which they use to glue together insects or berries they gathered, and attach the food clump to bark, branches, or lichens. The food clumps dry in the wind and stay well attached. When the ground is covered with snow in winter, the hidden food stores make life easier for the Siberian jay. This clever bird is able to remember the locations of thousands of different food stashes. In the depths of winter, the Siberian jay moves very little, conserving its energy reserves and fasting if needed to make it through to spring. The Siberian jay nests in March and April, when temperatures can still be 30 degrees below zero. The female keeps the nest warm, and the male patiently feeds the brooding female until the chicks hatch. Summer in Lapland is short and full of life. After the summer, nature falls silent. In September, autumn colors the mountains as if nature is celebrating the summer harvest and the newest generation of animals. In a way, this autumn foliage, called ruska in Lapland, is like harvest time for trees and shrubs when they store all the goodness produced by their leaves in the summer. In autumn, the plants shedding their leaves turn all shades of yellow, orange, and red, making the mountains burst with color. The molecules within their leaves that make up chlorophyll are broken down and transferred to the stems of trees and shrubs. In this way, the nutrients can be stored and reused. Autumn foliage of various shrubs on the ground turn shades of red and yellow a few days before the trees change color. Autumn is also the time of migration for birds. Millions gather in large flocks to feed and gather strength for the long flight to the south. There are more birds in the autumn migration than in the spring, as the chicks hatched over the summer months are also migrating. In some years, the autumn colors are particularly splendid in the north. In others, they are softer. The diminishing light and the drop in temperature trigger the autumn foliage. Northern plants often reproduce asexually and are therefore more genetically alike to each other than similar species in the south. This is one of the reasons the autumn colors of Lapland develop in plants and trees at the same time. Other creatures are also preparing for winter. Animals stock up on food reserves for a possible long winter fast. A lot of energy is consumed in the cold, and it is difficult to find food under the snow. Atlantic salmon ascend the River Tenno in Lapland to spawn. Male salmon already occupy the best places in the river's tributaries, where they await the female salmon, swimming upstream from the Arctic Ocean to spawn. The River Tenno and its tributaries is the most diverse salmon river in the world, where more than 30 genetically specialized salmon populations are known to spawn, including the humpback salmon, a foreign species that threatens to replace the original salmon populations. Salmon have to adapt to the freshwater river environment after spending a long time in the salty ocean. A flowing river is a completely different habitat from the sea, and salmon must also adjust physiologically to the change from saltwater to freshwater. Alongside some behavioral adaptations, salmon have evolved small molecular pumps in their gill cells that pump sodium in and out of their bodies. This process is known as osmoregulation, and it helps the salmon acclimatize to their two very different aquatic environments. Spawning takes place in autumn in the calm waters of rivers or on shallow gravel beds in the headwaters of the river. The female salmon digs a spawning pit with her tail and chooses the best partner to fertilize the roe. The male follows close behind and lays his light-colored milt on the eggs. The female protects the roe by covering it with her tail immediately after fertilization. Most male salmon develop a colorful spawning suit and occupy a territory which they defend. Traces of male salmon's battles are visible on their skin as cuts and scars. Among these powerful males, there are small, mature males that have not migrated to the sea after their juvenile phase. They have remained in the river all their lives. Outwardly, they look like juveniles, but they use cunning to reproduce. When spawning begins, a small male disturbs the larger male, and, at the same time, another unnoticed male releases his own milt on the roe. Spawning is an extreme effort for some fish, and they die after breeding. But the female salmon generally survive the stress of spawning and head back to the Arctic Ocean to recover. In the River Tenno, the fry take 3 to 5 years to develop into migratory juveniles, known as smolts, who experience the adventure of a lifetime as they set off, carried by the current, towards the sea. Compared to the barren river in the north, the sea is an enormous pantry where they can end up weighing 10 kilos after just a few years. With time, they return to their home river to reproduce, which they always correctly identify by smell. Trout and grayling prefer cold streams or small rivers with clear water and a sandy bottom. There are thousands of such beautiful, shallow and meandering rivers in Lapland. There are several species of trout to be found in Lapland. In addition to the small brown trout, there are lake trout and sea trout, which, after the river stage, migrate to marine waters to grow. Like salmon, marine trout return to their home rivers to reproduce, and are sometimes difficult to distinguish from salmon. They are both silvery with black spots. Trout spots continue stronger even below the lateral line. The trout's tail is straight, while the salmon's tail is forked. It takes a lot of effort for the fish to move upstream to the headwaters of the river. The freshwater pearl mussel also lives in some rivers of Lapland. The trout is crucial to the reproduction of these mussels. The female mussel blows the tiny larvae into the water, where they attach themselves to the gills of the trout. In this way, as parasites, the mussel larvae reach the headwaters of the river. The grayling is a common species in the rivers of Lapland. Its Finnish name refers to its large sail-like dorsal fin. Otherwise, the grayling has a streamlined appearance. The grayling's scales are in longitudinal rows, giving it a striped appearance. The grayling breeds in streams in springtime, a timing different from many other salmon family members. In summer, if water warms to over 18 degrees, it is disastrous for grayling's roe and fry development. The brook trout is a foreign species introduced for fishing. It lives in the same ecological niche as the trout, reducing the trout population and eventually replacing it. The raven is a skillful flyer whose flying displays can be admired in the wilderness sky. Sometimes it even flies on its back. The characteristics of the raven are its size, metallic black color, splayed out wing feathers, and large tail. Because of its size and color, the raven is considered a somewhat threatening bird. In some cultures, it was believed that the shaman could take the form of a raven and move between the upper realm of the gods and the underworld of the dead. Especially in late winter, when the breeding season approaches, ravens compete in flight. They do not reach reproductive maturity until they are 3 years old, but even as 1-year-olds, they form lifelong relationships. The ravens coo with various rough sounds and cuddle each other by rubbing their large black beaks together. Ravens start nesting around mid-April in Lapland. They choose the top of an old pine tree or a sheltered cliff as their nesting site. Raven nests year after year in the same tried and tested nesting sites. The raven couple is egalitarian. Both parents brood and feed the chicks. The raven is an exceptionally intelligent bird. It easily learns to imitate other birds and can also use tools. Ravens have been shown to be able to think logically. The raven has an ecologically important role as a scavenger. They are curious and have learned to follow hunting wolves, feeding on the carcasses of their prey. The raven is omnivorous, which means that it eats much more than carcasses. Its diet also includes bird eggs and chicks, small mammals, and berries in the autumn. Ravens are known as wilderness birds, but their numbers have increased, and now they live closer to civilization. The great gray owl hunts by listening. By turning its head, it targets the sound of its prey and strikes exactly in the right place. It is essential that the owl moves silently when hunting. It has special structures on the front and rear edges of its wing that make it silent. The top cover feathers are like velvet, and therefore the owl can fly silently and unnoticed. Owls' senses are extremely accurate. The great gray owl's eyeballs are at least as large as those of humans. They fill half the volume of its skull. However, vision is not the only sense it uses to detect prey. Although birds do not have visible outer ears, owls' ears accurately detect sound. They distinguish much higher sound frequencies than humans. The great gray owl's facial disc collects and directs sounds to its ears. By turning its head, the owl senses the exact location of its prey. The snowy owl is a very rare, large, and beautiful bird found in the far north of Lapland. This species of owl, which has almost disappeared from Finland, only breeds successfully when lemmings are plentiful. A successful nesting can result in more than 10 chicks. Young owls roam thousands of kilometers across the northern tundra zone to find a new habitat. Most of the owls only hunt at night. The northern owls, great gray owl, snowy owl, northern hawk owl, and pygmy owl also hunt during the day. They have adapted to the nightless nights of Lapland summer. The reproduction of owls depends on the amount of food available. A good vole or lemming winter is reflected in the number of owl chicks. If there are not enough small rodents in Lapland, the owls roam over large areas in search of food. Owls often nest in the old nests of hawks. Sometimes a decaying birch tree makes a good nesting site, where the chicks spend their first month. In northernmost Lapland, as you approach the Arctic Ocean coast, it feels like you have reached the end of the world. Nature becomes more and more barren. All the tall trees are already far away on the other side of the forest boundary. Here in the far north, the fells dive into the Arctic Ocean. Fell Lapland ends here. The tidal shore is a ruthless place for kelp. The tides change throughout the year, and twice a day the seaweed ends up on dry land. In winter, the kelp must survive in harsh cold and wind. In summer, in dry, scorching sunshine. In this ecosystem, the ocean is the basis for the entire food chain. The sea supports a diverse range of species, including not only marine organisms, but also large bird colonies on the shores and islands of the Arctic Ocean. Millions of birds nest in the Arctic Ocean in summer, with dozens of different species. Guillemots and puffins are members of the auk family. They nest in large bird colonies on the Arctic Ocean islands in northern Norway. Many other bird species also nest and live in these colonies, such as European shags, gulls, auks, northern gannets, and black-legged kittiwakes. The female guillemot lays her eggs on a bare rock shelf. For protection, it gathers just a few stones, which it sticks to the rock and to other stones with bird droppings. Thousands of nesting birds in the community recognize their eggs by appearance, even if they are only slightly different in color and shape. The puffins look exotic, especially during the mating season. Colorful scales grow on the large beak, making the puffin look sympathetic. Otherwise, they are black and white, like guillemots. Because their food comes almost entirely from the sea, these birds have no territorial behavior. Different species nest side by side. Here, the sea is unfrozen all year round. Below the ocean's tidal zone, large kelp forests grow. They can endure neither cold nor drought, but deeper in the ocean, they provide a labyrinth habitat for dozens of invertebrate species. The diversity of life in the ocean is great. Large schools of fish swim in the open water, which birds catch for their chicks. Guillemots are skillful divers, catching fish and marine invertebrates as if they were flying underwater. They fly more skillfully in the water than in the air. The climate of the Earth is getting warmer, and this is having an impact on nature. North of the Arctic Circle, the rate of warming and therefore change in nature is much faster than in the south. As a result of climate change, some species are moving further north, while new species are taking over habitats in Lapland. Nature is adapting to changes on planet Earth, and new species, both plants and animals, are rapidly spreading to new territories.